Hi beauties, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm trying out two products from Chantecaille. I'm trying out the Future Skin Cushion Foundation in Agave, and I'm also trying out the Le Camouflage Stylo. This is their concealer, and this is shade number 5. So if you'd like to find out my first impressions, then just keep watching. Before we get started, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you so much for joining me for today's video. And if you're new to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button as well as turn on the notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my uploads. I've never tried out a product from Chantecaille before. This is my first time. I saw a few of my favorite YouTubers feature this on their channel, and I really loved the outcome. I loved how their skin looked. So I really wanted to try it because it looked so amazing on them. This is a fresh, water-based skincare foundation formula that blurs imperfections and infuses the skin with ingredients with powerful anti-aging and anti-pollution benefits while leaving it looking flawless, lightweight, and instantly perfecting. The refillable soft cushion compact makes building coverage beautifully simple. Apply with the puff for a natural fresh finish, or apply with your fingers for even more ease. Another thing that I liked is I heard that they like to sponsor some sort of wildlife or some sort of charitable effort. It says, "We are proud to give back to the elephant conservation efforts of Sheldrick Wildlife Trust with this product." They donate to this cause with funding from our purchases. With the purchase of every cushion, they donate a certain amount. Here is the refillable cushion in here. The refill is here in the bottom of this container. It says 12 grams, 0.42 ounces. So my assumption is with both cushions is 0.42 ounces. We're gonna go ahead and get the foundation on, and then we'll talk about the concealer. I'm gonna start with primer water. That's from Smashbox. And I'm also going to use my Supergoop Unseen Sunscreen. This doubles as a primer, one of my favorites. And it goes on clear. And it also helps to keep your skin from getting oily while also protecting it from the sun. I've already opened this when I filmed a recent haul because I wanted to check the color, but I have not tried it on. So it has this cushion here. And it didn't say to wet the cushion, so I'm assuming that I don't wet it. So I'm gonna try applying it with the cushion on one side of my face, and then I think I'm gonna use a beauty blender on the other side to see if there's a difference. Here we go with the puff. The compact does come with a mirror. So I'm just gonna press that in here. And I know that this may be a little light because there are limited shades in this product. And this was closest to my skin tone. I'm liking the shade. Of course, if I were, really able to choose from a variety of colors, I would pick a shade a little darker if I had the option. But it's not bad. I don't know that I like how many times I have to keep dipping, dip, to get the product on my puff. This will take forever for me to build up to the coverage that I might like. As you can tell, I have it on this half of my face, and I would say that this is quite like light coverage, but definitely looks like skin. I'm gonna sit this aside and let's try the beauty blender. And I'm just gonna bop it in here. So this is with the Beauty Blender. I can certainly say that with the damp sponge, you are seeing more luminous, like luminosity, with the first initial application. That made the application much faster, and I could see myself migrating more towards this type of application just because of the speed that it gives me. This side feels tacky. Yeah, both sides still feel a little tacky, like it's not drying down to a matte finish or anything. It still feels tacky to the touch. So let's go in with another layer because I need a little more. I'm gonna try this again with this, and I will go over everything at the end, like to make it look the same. That's another layer with this. All right, let's try the sponge on the other side. All right, hit another layer. And I'm trying to build up in places where I know I have more hyperpigmentation to see if I can build up to some sort of full coverage. Even though I know this is more of a light to medium coverage, just want to see how does it build. Oh, it's looking better, like the more I add. Looking ghostly now, but okay, so that's what it looks like with the second layer with the Beauty Blender. I'm gonna go like in a little bit and just sort of go on this side so that it looks the same. The one thing about the cushion is you can't tell when you've used all your product up. I'm thinking that, like thinking ahead, like how will you know when it's almost empty? All right, so I think that this is pretty good, and I think I'm built up to pretty decent coverage. I don't want to continue to add and end up with cake face, so I'm gonna stop here. Even though some of my imperfections are peeping through, we'll stop here. This is the coverage that I have right now. I like this so far. It is definitely more skin-like, skincare infused. I can tell all of those things. This is what we look like at this point without powder. Let's go ahead and move on to the concealer. But I know how I am. I like how this looks. I like my skin. I like that it looks like skin. But I have to complete the entire look to really get a feel for my true thoughts on it. So let's go ahead to the stylo. So this is the packaging of the stylo. It's like a pen. I've already swatched it because I featured this in a haul. So we're gonna just click it here and let's see what we get. Ooh, quite a bit came through. Okay, this is shade number 5. And I will use my Beauty Blender. We'll start with a small amount and then we will go from there. I'm gonna take this side of my Beauty Blender. I think I saw someone use their finger to blend this out. I did not read this one. Does it tell me instructions? Let me read the instructions, guys. I don't see directions with this one. I'll do the Beauty Blender on one side and then I'll use my finger on the other. Although I never do that, but we will do that. I mean, I never blend out concealer like this. See, lots of people do it, but not I. So that was just a small amount. And I can still see my dark circles. So we're gonna go in with some more. And I really wanna take it kinda over my eyelids. That's what I typically do. I'm gonna put some on my nose here, where I would typically. I may need another concealer along with this one, because I don't think this is enough for like the center of my face. I think this is definitely more for underneath my eyes. Okay, so let's go in again. I'll just turn it on the other side for the Beauty Blender. And I'm probably just gonna use the Beauty Blender on my left as well. And I'm taking it over my eyes this time. That's not bad, but it's not, I don't know, I can still see dark circles, but I don't want to keep adding. It's like I don't want to add but so much more of this. But definitely it needs help. I didn't want to apply my color corrector because I wanted to see what this did by itself, but I had a feeling, for some reason, I felt like it was probably going to need a little help. I'm using it down the center of my face just to not add another concealer, but I typically would use another concealer to highlight with. I definitely don't recommend using this because you get such a small amount anyway. It will be gone if you use it in this way, but just for the sake of this demonstration, I want to just use this product just so I can see, you know. I'll just stop here and I'm not going to add anything else, and let's see if the powder covers the rest. It looks skin-like, it's not creasing, and it's not settling in my fine lines. The question is, does it do a decent enough job camouflaging my dark circles? That's the question. I'm gonna go in with this Morphe powder. It's like a yellow powder that I've been liking a lot lately. This is the Wayne Goss, the Airbrush brush. This powder is a little more mattifying, but I know my skin and I tend to get more oily. These seem to be like I said, still tacky to the touch. I think it needs to be set. Now I'm gonna go in with Huda. This is Banana Bread. I'm gonna apply that to the rest of my face. This one is a little more like of a white or translucent, where the other one is yellow. And I prefer to use my yellow powders in the center. I prefer to only use the yellow powder in the center of my face, not all over. So that's why I go in with a different one. This one is a little less, it's not quite yellow. It's Banana Bread, so it's not quite white. It's more of a creamy color, and I love it. Beautiful. With the powder on, it looks good, and I have a feeling, I just know how things work for me. I have a feeling once I complete the makeup look, I'm gonna love this. I feel like I'm gonna love it. But let me finish my look and then we're gonna talk about it. So I don't have on all of my makeup. I decided to let you guys kind of see what it looks like at this point before I apply the bronzer. That way you can kind of see, what does this look like with just powder? And of course, when I applied the powder, it lightened everything. I'm going in with my Hoola bronzer in Toasted, and I'm kind of using this almost as a contour. I've already started on my forehead. I'm gonna go back over it with the Caramel bronzer. But this is the power of bronzer. This is the Sonia G Sculpt 2 brush that I'm using. And it is known for picking up products that are difficult to pick up. It feels like this powder is just laying down on top of the foundation very easily. Just quite different. Okay, now I'm gonna take my Surratt face brush and just sort of go in with Caramel. This is the lighter shade, and just bronze with this one. Now I'm just going to take a buffing brush and just gently buff any harsh lines away. I'm going to use the Chanel blush today. The blush applies better with the natural fiber brush. And this is the Blush Highlighter Duo. This is the cheek brush, and it's by Chikuhodo, and it is a blue squirrel haired brush. I'm gonna do the highlighter here, and then I'm gonna go back and contour my nose. Oh, I just love this. Oh my gosh. And I'm just gonna go over with this beauty blender really quickly. Now let me highlight my nose. Let's just take a little bit of the highlighter up here. This is just the Huda powder. Just leave that on for a second. And dust it off. Cork lip liner. This is Neutral Rose by Bobbi Brown. I can't remember what it looks like. We're gonna find out. Let's use my Gerard Cosmetics. Let's go old school and top this with nude. I think I've got a monochromatic look going on. I'm gonna use the Airbrush Flawless by Charlotte Tilbury. Alright, I'm back with my completed look, and you guys got to see kind of me add my bronzer. I thought that that was important. Let's talk about my first impressions of the foundation as well as the stylo. As I was applying this, I wasn't sure how I felt about it. This is what happens during a first impression. I'm not typically a skincare foundation type of person. I'm not a tinted moisturizer type of person. I typically like medium to full coverage foundation. So this is definitely a different type of concept for me. Because there are limited shades in the shade range, this is a little bit light, but will work when you apply bronzer and complete the look. You can make it work, as you can tell. I think that overall it's a really good shade match. It's a very good shade match with the final look. Just to remind you, you know, that's what Agave looks like. It's a good match for me of the shades that they have. I think there are only 8 or 9. I liked the Beauty Blender application better than the applicator that comes with it. If that's all you have, it will work, but it just seemed like I had to dip in way too many times, and it was just too much. It was too much. But I see a lot of people do reviews with the applicator and then they continue to use the applicator. It's nice to have, and I'll try it again, but I think I like this better. Because I'm a person who is trying to build this up to medium to full coverage, I'm gonna apply a little bit more than a person who is trying to achieve light coverage. So I preferred using the Beauty Blender. It was easier to get more product with the Beauty Blender. I'm loving how my skin looks. It looks quite skin-like. I'm an aging woman. All of us are aging women, but I am over 40, and I think that foundations like this are good for women who are over 40. Sometimes people tell you to stay away from these, you know, full coverage matte foundations as you get older, you know, settle in your fine lines and wrinkles. But I don't always have a negative experience with full coverage matte foundations as an aging woman. I don't think I do. I think I have good experiences. So I just think this is another option for me as a woman who is over 40. I don't know that this is like you got to run out and get this because you're over 40, that this is the only type of foundation you should use. I disagree with that. I think you have to just play it by ear with your skin type, and see what you like. I have combo skin. I do get oily in my T-zone. I'm seeing that I'm not getting oily as of right now. Like, I'm liking the finish of my forehead. You know, this is an area where sometimes the wrinkles will show, you know, where you have little wrinkles, and I hate that. And my forehead looks quite smooth. One thing that I loved was how my bronzers laid on top of the foundation. Like, I don't know what it was, but it was just much smoother. When I put powder products on top of it, there was no skipping around. There was no tugging, pulling. It just smoothly laid on top of the foundation. My first impressions are very good. I really like the finished look, and I do think that my skin looks youthful and supple and fresh, and I like that. This is a problem area for me right here. I break out here, and then I have hyperpigmentation, and it didn't cover that. My skin is still peeping through, yet I feel like it's smooth. You know, it did blur. It did smooth. I do feel that. And it does still look like skin. It's not heavy at all. Like, it feels like I have nothing on. It doesn't feel like I have on foundation at all. It just feels like I have bare skin. So it feels amazing. And I think it looks really, really good. And it's worth trying if it's something that you were thinking about. It is on the high end, so you need to find yourself a coupon like I did. I used Rakuten. I mentioned that in my haul. I used Rakuten and I saved as far as cash back. And then I think I might have purchased this from Neiman Marcus. I was not on their email list and I got 15% off when I joined their email list, and that's how I was able to purchase this for a little bit less. I do think that it looks fantastic and I don't regret the purchase at all, and I'm looking forward to using it even more. So let's talk about the stylo. The jury is definitely still out on this and whether it is worth it. Let's talk about the pros first. Pros are, it really doesn't settle in fine lines. I do have some fine lines underneath my lash line here, and this is on up there as far as concealers that doesn't settle in those lines or accent your fine lines. It is great for that. I definitely do think I see like a little bit of a extra glow or highlight in the areas where I applied this. And I didn't even put that much, but like right in here where I didn't apply bronzer and here under my eye, I feel like this has highlighted a little bit. I like that. So I'm loving how it looks in that way. This is the perfect applicator for a product that's only 0.06 ounces because you won't use as much. If you have to click the little pen and then just go in with this, you're not going to use as much, so it's going to last longer. So I do like that. If you're a person who has slight imperfections under your eye and you just need a little something to hide those imperfections, this is perfect. And if you just want to apply a little dab of concealer, just a little bit under your eye, I think that you would be a good candidate for this because you don't get much. There's only 0.06 fluid ounces in this. Way smaller than, you know, a Tarte Shape Tape. Way smaller than that. This was $50+. Why spend that kind of money on a concealer that you don't get very much and it just does an okay job of covering everything? Because I can still see my dark circles. And you don't have to hurt my feelings in the comments and say, yeah, girl, I see them too. But I still see them. It didn't cover them. I think moving forward, I will probably use this in conjunction with another concealer. I may apply a concealer that's more full coverage, like my Shape Tape, and then I might go in closer to my lash line where I see more wrinkles and apply something like this. You know, so put the Shape Tape down lower to cover those dark circles and then go in with this a little closer to the lash line. Or I could use a color corrector first and then apply this, but I definitely won't be using this probably by itself unless I'm just like going nowhere special and I don't really care. I will have to use this in all the ways I just mentioned to be able to say for sure whether I'd buy this again. It just needs a little bit more coverage. So for people who don't have a dark circle issue and you just need a little bit of coverage, this will be great. If you're calling yourself a camouflage stylo, I'm thinking you're gonna camouflage something, and I expect it to be able to do that. So there you have it. That's my quick demo and first impressions of the Chantecaille Future Skin Cushion Foundation as well as the Stylo by Chantecaille. I will link both products down below if you're interested in checking them out. If you like this video, give it a big thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and I will respond. And if you've not already subscribed to my channel, go ahead and click that subscribe button before you leave. So I'll be seeing you guys again very soon in my next video. So until the next time we meet again, this is Savvy signing out.